Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the Democrats continue not to learn from their mistakes and their 2024 election loss. We understand that at this point. However, it's like every day, every week, they're hitting a new low. They're trotting out somebody new out there, trying to, gain support or try to change the conversation in their favor, and it's never working. And the latest example of this is none other than Tampon Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's failed VP candidate, who did nothing to help her win. In fact, was partially, one of the many reasons why she lost, but he definitely hurt the campaign more than he helped it. Usually you want a VP that helps your campaign. She chose one that hurt the campaign. She would have lost anyways, but still, it's absolutely ridiculous that they think it's a good idea to trot out this guy to lecture people, and they have like these AstroTurf town halls where it's like, yeah, you have like 1,000 Democrats in like a blue city in a red state that happen to show up. Who knows how many of them are showing up organically versus how many of them are like paid to be there or just like are the people that follow around, these Democrat candidates to every single thing. But that's besides the point. What we do know is there's a very good chance that Tim Walz runs for president. That doesn't mean that they're going to hand him the nomination or that they'll even allow him to have it. Honestly, if there's a shred of competence left in that party, there's no way they're letting the guy get the nomination. But regardless, it's funny because not only are the Democrats doubling down on the same failed candidates and failed individuals that are laughing stocks, they're also doubling down on the same ideas that caused them to lose in the first place. And we could play this clip of Tampon Tim here because it's just so ridiculous.
That our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them. And so...
Okay, so all the failed policies, DEI, open borders, etc., he's basically saying, no, they're controlling the narrative. We need to say these things are good, and we need to execute them. That's what they did in part, and that's why they failed. A lot of Americans saw what was going on in the Biden administration, and as a result, they voted for Donald Trump and gave him a second non-contiguous term because of it. And it's like they're astroturfing this guy's presidential run as well. And it's ironic he's talking about diversity and DEI in front of like a 90% white crowd or whatever, as is the usual way that these things go. But, it's like, could he run in 2028? Well, either way, I don't know if he'd get the nomination. He might try to run. Who knows? Kamala might run again. Either way, she'll either run for the nomination in 28 or she'll run for governor of California next year. Either way, I think that it's just going to be a laughingstock endeavor for her, for him, for a lot of these people. But I did want to do in this video an election prediction because it's kind of a slow news day for 2028 between JD Vance and Tim Walz. So without further ado, I think we're going to fill this out. I have Vance's VP as Marco Rubio. I feel like he might pick him because he's kind of seen as like the third in command in the Trump administration. He's improved a lot and would reach out to, Hispanic voters that voted for Trump, might help accelerate the realignment that way. Tim Walz, he's going to pick a token woman. I'm not sure who that would be. Probably a minority woman. Who knows? Jasmine Crockett at this point. Probably not, but we'd love that. It'd be a big gift. But nevertheless, let's fill this map out. The safe red states, all the states that are going to go Republican by 10 points or more in a Vance-Walz matchup. So we're going to be filling all of these states out here. And already the Republicans are going to have a very high floor. You're talking about over 200 electoral votes in the safe column, 219 to be exact. That is a lot in the safe column. Meanwhile, the Democrats, they'll get California, Oregon, Washington, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine's 1st district. They'll probably get Delaware, Maryland, D.C., Colorado, and Hawaii in their column. So already out of the gate, you see 130 for the Democrats here. And now we can fill out the likely Republican states, the states that are going to go Republican by over 5 but less than 10 points. I think you got to look at the Southwest, Arizona, those registration trends. If Trump's approval rating is around 50%, I think Arizona and Nevada, both at that stage in the game, are going to be going Republican by over 5 percentage points. I think that might be it for the likely red states, but already you're talking about 236. Now, the likely Democrat states, Illinois and New York, I think that those states are going to possibly be under 10. Maine at large as well, I think, could fit in that category as well. So definitely a lot of these blue states are going to get closer, but they're not really ready to flip quite yet. So we will move on to the lean Republican states, the states that would go Republican by over 2 points but less than 5 points. I think North Carolina is a state where that possibly could happen. The registration trends continue to favor Republicans. It's kind of like a titanium lean Republican state. I think it will stay in the Republican column as it stands now. In terms of other states that could fit this bill, maybe you could look at a state like Pennsylvania just because of those registration trends and the way you're seeing the state move. Northeastern Pennsylvania, rural Pennsylvania, you talk about getting close to maxed out. And Vance is somebody that probably gives you the best shot to have Rust Belt appeal besides somebody like Donald Trump, because Vance is someone who had a Rust Belt upbringing, grew up there. His personality fits the Midwest well. I think you could make a case Pennsylvania would go to Vance by more than 2 percentage points, not by much, but by more than 2 in this situation, because Tim Walz is a joke. He'll try this like, I'm like the white working class minstrel show LARP, and it's not going to bode well. It already hurt Harris when he was her VP. Imagine how bad it would be if he was at the top of the ticket, which is why I don't expect him to get the nomination, but this is a hypothetical video if he did. In the lean Democrat column, I think Minnesota, it is Walz's home state. He will do very poorly in rural Minnesota. I think he would actually do worse than Kamala Harris in the state. So Minnesota, I have in the lean blue column. Same thing with Nebraska's 2nd district, especially with trends and the way it's been moving. So those 2 would technically go in that column. So that leaves we forgot about Virginia. I think Virginia would be a Democrat, but by less than 5. So there's 64 electoral votes outstanding, and we're going to fill this map out to see who's going to win the toss-up states. So without further ado, we'll start off on the East Coast. We'll start off with New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a state that is in an interesting position because it was moving left, a lot of growth from the Boston area after 2016. But 2024, it's narrowed in registration data. I thought it was from the primary, but you did see a little bit of a reversion the month after, and then just instantly Republicans started to gain again. And it was like, okay, interesting. Not sure why that is, but you do have a heavy white working class population in the state of New Hampshire, and it was a very close state this time around. They may elect a Republican senator next fall. I do think that Vance against Tim Walz could manage to win the state of New Hampshire. I really do. New Jersey, it might get closer. I wouldn't say it's quite ready to flip, but I could see a shift of a few points. It's going to be a lot closer. The state of Georgia, Tim Walz, I don't see him getting the black turnout necessary to win Georgia. It's moved to the left, and it would be a very close state, but I think that Vance could pull it off by a hair, even with a lot of growth that we've seen in Atlanta. I think he also would sweep Michigan and the state of Wisconsin as well. He'd win both of those states, and I think New Mexico, this is a close one. I think that you could make the case that if the registration trends continue, that J.D. Vance could eventually pick it off, just because I think the Hispanic trends will actually continue. I think Rubio on the ticket possibly could help out with that. And as a result, that would give him 321 electoral votes to Tim Walz's 217. It just is not really a good idea for Democrats to run anybody on their bench. I'm not saying that they can't win in 2028. I think under the right circumstances they could, but the candidate that they would need to win, I just don't see that candidate quite yet. And maybe they will eventually find them, and maybe they will be able to compete. But it's like the Democrats, they're only really able to win these elections where 10% of people show up, the special elections, like what we saw in Pennsylvania. And it's not like you have people who usually vote Republican voting for the Democrat and leaving the Republicans, but it kind of gives Democrats like this false sense of confidence. And it's like, okay, but very few people showed up. In a presidential year, you're going to have a lot more people showing up. And as a result, you will, in my opinion, see J.D. Vance beat somebody like a Tim Walz. They're going to need a very strong candidate to win in 2028. Even if Trump's approval rating is a little bit underwater, just because of how unpalatable that their party has become. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.